Deep within the whispering woods, where the moss is as soft as a pillow, lived a beautiful mama bear named Nessa and her daughter Briar. It was a golden morning, and the air smelled of pine needles and honey. Briar was full of energy, her paws dancing over the forest floor as she followed Nessa toward the sparkling creek. "Today is a day for adventures," Briar chirped, tumbling through a patch of sunlight. While Nessa stopped to sniff a cluster of wild lilies, Briar found a very interesting mound of earth near an old oak tree. It looked like the perfect place for jumping. Briar climbed to the top of the mound and began to hop up and down. Thump, thump, thump went her paws. She giggled, imagining she was a mountain goat on the highest peak in the world. Suddenly, the ground beneath her paws began to shake. A head with sharp white stripes popped out of a hole in the mound. It was Soren the badger, and he looked very cross. "Stop that racket," Soren barked, his voice scratchy and loud. "Go play somewhere else, you noisy cub. Can't you see I'm busy?" Briar froze, her heart thumping harder than her feet ever had. Briar scrambled off the mound and ran as fast as her legs could carry her back to Nessa. Her fur was bristling, and her eyes were cloudy with tears. "Mama, a mean badger yelled at me," she huffed, her chest heaving. "He was so prickly and loud. I want to go back and roar a big, scary roar at him so he knows how it feels." Nessa didn't roar, and she didn't get angry. Instead, she sat down and pulled Briar into a warm, furry hug. "I understand why you are upset, little one," Nessa whispered. "But before we roar, let's go on a quiet walk. Sometimes, things aren't exactly what they seem from the outside." Briar sniffled and took her mother's paw, curious about what a quiet walk could be. They crept back toward the oak tree, moving as silently as falling leaves. Nessa led Briar behind a large, leafy fern where they could see the mound without being seen. "Now, watch closely," Nessa whispered. Briar peeked through the green fronds. Soren the badger was back outside, but he wasn't yelling anymore. Soren was covered in dark soil from his nose to his tail. He was heaving heavy rocks out of the hole and pushing piles of dirt away with his tired paws. He stopped for a moment, leaning against a root, and let out a long, weary sigh. His shoulders were slumped, and he looked much smaller than he had when he was shouting. "You see, Briar," Nessa murmured, "Soren is building a new home, and the ground here is very hard. He has been digging since the moon was high. When animals, or even bears, are prickly on the outside, it is often because they are very tired or worried on the inside." His grump was just his tiredness coming out as a bark. Just then, a tiny badger cub poked its head out of the burrow. Soren's whole face changed. He stopped looking grumpy and reached out to nuzzle the little cub, gently grooming the dirt off the baby's ears. He looked worried but full of love. Briar realized that Soren wasn't mean. He was just a papa trying his best to take care of his family. Briar looked at her mother and smiled. She didn't want to roar anymore. She found a large, sweet blackberry nearby and left it quietly on a flat stone for Soren to find later. As they walked home, Briar felt light and happy. "I'm glad we went on a quiet walk, Mama," she said. "The world is much better when you look with your heart."